Yo, so me the young Jamaican trainer, Mr. Strength No Weakness himself. Yo, I'm here to tell you guys that the Brosis family presents their second annual Blue and White Grill and Chill. Let me let you know something. It will be so much fun and amazing event. Make sure you show up and show out. From the young Jamaican trainer himself. Listen, Saturday, May 28th, and it's 3458 Bulla Avenue, Bronx, New York. Me see you later. Strength No Weakness.
Good evening, everyone. Just want to say welcome to another exciting episode of the Rusea's Brosis Empowerment Night. Tonight, I'm delighted to celebrate with our president, the one and only Mr. Troy Bulla Malcolm. And I'm very, very excited for the privilege of having Mr. Gregory Malcolm co-host this program tonight. Mr. Malcolm, Gregory, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic tonight. Pleasure to be here.
I'm delighted to have backup because I'm going to need a lot of ammunition tonight. We're going to throw some punches tonight. So this is a great delight. Mr. Troy Malcolm, how are you, Mr. President?
Good evening to each and everyone. Mr. Dunkley, good evening. My best friend, my confidant, my brother in arms, Mr. Gregory Malcolm. Chinel. To our viewers throughout the world, welcome to the Rusea's Brosis Foundation. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you so much. And for all our viewers, I just want to say thanks to you for your support over the time that we have been broadcasting these significant interviews. I personally have been very thrilled to have this experience and very fortunate to be able to celebrate with so many good people who have really done tremendous work for Rusea's High School. Again, we have two objectives in mind. One is to celebrate the lives of those who have contributed to the Rusea's legacy. And the second objective is to empower and inspire those who are coming after, to let them know that there's still greatness available to them, just as how it has been available to us. Again, we're celebrating our president, Mr. Troy Malcolm, tonight, and we're also using this platform as an opportunity to encourage the younger generation that is coming up, to let them know that big things have come out of Rusea's and more big things can come out of Rusea's. So there we have it. Mr. Malcolm, I want you to relax. This is not a working evening for you. Your role as president is on hold for the next hour or so. Tonight, I just want to journey with you and celebrate you, because I'll tell you from the very get-go, I, Desmond Anthony Dunkley, I'm absolutely proud of you.
Thank you so much.
I just want to put that out there right now. I am absolutely proud of your journey. And it is really a privilege for me to have this opportunity to pick your brain and to pick out some of the steps in this tremendous path that you have carved out in the universe. And it is such a delight to have your younger brother, Mr. Gregory Malcolm, to share this moment with me, because I'm very fortunate to have had a very significant relationship with both of you that has lasted over 40 years. 40 years, and it has been nothing but love. Nothing but love. So I want to thank you for the inspiration that you have given to me and the great satisfaction that I have received in having you in my life. So I'm starting off by saying thank you both. Tremendously grateful for the legacy that you have already created and for the joy that I have to be a part of your journey. Okay, so let's start. Mr. Malcolm, you went to a couple schools before you came to Rusea's. Could you just walk us briefly through those beginning stages before you got to Rusea's? Help us here.
All right. And thank you so much, Mr. Dunkley, for those kind words, and very touching. And that's true. We have been on this journey or this path for a very, very long time. And the three of us, as we're sitting here doing this, we have something great to accomplish. But before I can start my journey, I just want to acknowledge the families of some members that they were with us, but they're no longer with us. And it's only fitting for the Rusea's Brothers Sisters Foundation, Inc., to acknowledge those family members and to say to Fabian Pirate Lawrence, who passed away during the time of, well, the whole Brosis get together was created or formed because of Fabian Pirate Lawrence. So Fabian Pirate Lawrence, I know probably your family members are listening. May his soul rest in peace. Mr. Anthony Follis Williams, that's another person as well. May your soul rest in peace. Mr. Anthony Wizzy Thompson, may your soul rest in peace. Mr. Warren McDonald, may your soul rest in peace. And Ras Abadu Archie, may your soul rest in peace. So it's only fitting for us to pay homage to those that was with us, but no longer with us. So let's continue my journey.
You could just stop right there. That is the reason you are the president, because it is this heart and compassion that gave birth to the Rusea's Brosis Foundation.
Yes.
And it's really fitting that you took time to give credit to these individuals who are no longer with us, but who have been a significant part for the birth of this foundation. So thank you, Mr. President, for taking that time.
Yes, you're welcome.
So yes, we're gonna go back to you. But before you even start that journey, I can't help. We have a few people who are loyal, consistently loyal to our exchange. And already there's somebody that you might know, Mr. President, that is one of the first to log in. And I'm talking about no other than Mrs. Karine Malcolm. Then we have Tony Bernard. We have Lloyd Campbell, blessed Brosis family. Then we have Colin Stewart saying, finally, Troy. Then we have St. Ryan Stephen. Good evening, gentlemen. And of course, it starts rolling. Dennis Drum, blessings coach always. So even before you start to speak, people are all over it again. Good evening all. I'm very excited about this evening. I'm so proud of my husband, Mr. President, Troy Bulla Malcolm. That's Mrs. Malcolm. Then Carlton Alexander. Yes. Blessings, Rusea's Brosis family. Respect in every aspect. And that's a start. So here it is. Tell us part of your story. I want to trace that journey before you landed at Rusea's, the champion school of the West.
No, and you see, okay. My journey is not how you start, it's how you finish. And I'm speaking to the kids of Rusea's High School right now, and I'm also speaking to the overall kids worldwide. Never give up on your dream. Always pursue your goal. Whatever you have in your mind, tell yourself you will get better at it. Now, let's fast forward. I was born and raised in Lucy, New Orleans Hospital. I have a exceptional mom. Sybil Tats Kerr. I have my brother, as you know, Mr. Gregory Chinel Malcolm. Two sisters, Randy and Sophia Steele. That was our close-knit family. Alberta Steele, who raised us. Yes, my father, Donald Malcolm, wasn't much around. And I'm not here to bash my dad, because my brother was the one who changed that perception of me kind of shying away from my dad because he wasn't there. So I'm also speaking to the fathers in Jamaica and worldwide. Do not abandon your son, your daughters. So the journey for my mom with 4 kids wasn't a smooth road. But to us, we had a very good life. She makes it that way. So there are times I used to remember she wakes up in the morning and fixing us our lunch to go to school, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, we used to take lunch to school. So yes, born in Nola Homes Hospital, went to Lucy Basic School. They used to call it Army Chick at the time. Right across from, right across from Linton Pump Stewart House right there. Stanford Party Reed House was across the street right there. That's where we grew up and we learned the trade in terms of playing soccer. We used to call it Little Study or Little Stadium.
Yes.
You know? The likes of Sheridan Samuels, Horace Donnerboy Samuels, Mark Chambers, Paul Chambers, Peter Gashier, Rowan Gashier. I could go on and on and on. Then from there, I went to Lucy Primary School.
Okay.
Principal at the time was Miss Edith Gonzalez.
Okay.
Do her thing, I was an outgoing person, Sadi. And love to go, love swimming. There's everything. Church Street was the place. Big Well was the place. Horngans was the place. Watson Taylor Park was our place. I enjoyed my childhood.
Yes.
The outdoors. The first time Lucy Primary played Rusea's under 14 junior Colts. We defeat them 1-0 at Watson Taylor Park. It was a big thing for us.
Of course.
Lucy Primary School defeated Rusea's High School. It was a big thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So after Lucy Primary School, as I said before, I didn't give the type of trouble that a lot of kids know, no guns, never get arrested or anything like that. But I wasn't into the book. It was more sports, music, and those things. Then after Lucy Primary, I went to Jericho College. A lot of people don't know that.
No, I did not know that before you shared it with me. Yes.
Yeah. I went to Jericho College, same thing. There was a lot of us from Lucy was going there. Veronica Barrett, I think it was Flash, Sharon. Yeah, there was a lot of us was going there. Then what?
Wow.
We started a journey with soccer up there. There was no soccer playing at Jericho College. And there was.
How old were you at that time when you went to Jericho? Approximately.
Probably about 13, 12 plus going to 13.
Okay.
Yeah. And Mr. Elliott, I remember him. Mr. Elliott was our math teacher, but he also knew a little about soccer. So he was our coach there. And put a team together. And we won the all-age competition there. Jericho all-age won the all-age football competition there.
Wow.
Didn't stay there long. My mother thinks I was still going out too much, partying too much, so I was doing all of those things. Went to Montego Bay, Hillview High School. From all the footballers who know Montego Bay and know Montego Bay well, Hillview High School is right behind Caldwell College.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's what a private school. The first two person from Lucy that went to that school was Patricia Telwell. That's Miss P.
Okay.
Yeah, Miss P and Pauline Johnson from Hunt Gardens. Yeah, they were the two first people from Lucy to went to Hillview High School. So I used to see them coming home with their uniform. There was a yellow uniform. The ladies were wearing a yellow uniform and the boys strictly khaki. So went there, did well also in football. And then I think I spent 2 years there. And then in 1980, I went to Rusea. Was recruited by Mr. Steve Butner and Mr. Emerson Henry.
All right, so stop right there, Mr. President. So question for you. Sure. When you went to Jericho All Age, you traveled back and forth daily?
Daily on those bus. You know, the bus that leave from Lucy to, yeah. All of
and then when you went to Montego Bay, when you went to Hillview High School in Montego Bay, you traveled daily?
Daily, same thing.
You were an expensive kid, man.
I was.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I was.
That was a lot of money. You took away the budget from the house.
Yeah, I was. But you see,
a troublemaker and an expensive one, Mr. D.
An expensive one. That's what I didn't know all that. That part I didn't know, man. Did not know until the pre-interview. That's when I discovered some of these things. You were very expensive.
I was, and that's why I said I can't repay my mom.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
She sacrificed a lot for me. So anything my mom want, no, as we speak, Mr. D, she'll get it. She'll have it. You know.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she's my rock.
So pause a second for me.
Yeah.
Pause a second. During this time from Jericho, as a matter of fact, starting at Lucy Primary to Jericho, there was this musical influence. Mr. Gregory, Malcolm, do you know anything about this music thing that?
Oh.
Or was it or it was real? Was it real?
It was real. I mean, you know, before we even get to the musical stuff, you know, help me. The one beef I had with him is you hear him talk about playing football and at whatever age he was out and about. I couldn't even leave outside my gates, you know, Mr. D, because but listen to this, the moment I stepped out, he would be chasing me home, right? So that's
he would be chasing you?
He would send me back home. I could not leave the house because he would constantly, you know, chase me back home. But yeah, I think the musical journey was a real one. And there's one vivid memory in my head, a story I'd heard, and I'm sure I'll ask him to relay as he talk about his musical journey, but one involving our uncle and him being caught around being a DJ at some point in some dance hall. And there's a story about our uncle pull him up, and you know he could share with you the story, but maybe you want to expound a bit on his musical journey. At an early age, I would say.
No, for a lot of people, okay, for the people in Lucy back in those days, right? Mr. D.
Yes.
As I said before, I'm a fan of music, all genres of music, but there was a sound system in Lucy called Soul Shot. You remember Soul Shot with the Shaw, Mr. Shaw? Mr. Shaw. Yeah. So
he was a technician.
He's a technician. Yeah. So you remember the two bombs like what Sturgraph and those guys. So I used to myself and Stanford read Party. You know, that's Bargy brother and Dewey brother. Yes. Yeah, we used to. He was a Party was a selector and I was a DJ. So we used to travel as a little kid, go to Kendall, Cascade, Dias, Jericho, all over, Negril, all over. So my mom didn't like that. I think that's why my mom was keep shifting me back and forth all over the school. But you know, then I would screechy and go home at night. But my mom would crack the door halfway open so I can come in the house. So by the time I come in the house and I slide down under the bed because I know I want to get some butt whipping, and I only hear the bed bop, 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 bop. whipping like crazy, Mr. D, whipping. But guess what? The next night I gone again. You know? Yeah. So, you know, that was my thing, my love for the sound system, you know. But
So Troy,
yeah.
So Troy, is it true that Uncle Sonny caught you in the dance? You were singing about ramming dance hall, and he said he's gonna ram his foot up your butt. Is that true?
Dunkley, listen, audience, listen. You know, out my tie up there, I used to also DJ out there with the sound system, you know, and you know, I used to run the dance, I used to cart dance, that's what I used to call it. You know, and for some reason there was this rumor going around. I think my uncle said to somebody, because my uncle is Cecil Carr, aka Sonny Bulla. You know, that's Andrew Carr father. But a lot of people thought that he was my dad. You know, but he was not. He was my uncle. So at the time, you know, there were some rumors going around. It was a big thing in Lucy too, you know, that he sent a threat to me that, you know, he heard that I'm carking dance hall, and if he heard that I cark one more dance, I'm going to cark you know what. You know, so so that was the story behind that, in the carking the dance down there, you know.
Did he catch you?
No, because, you know, listen, music thing, you know, Mr. D, and we love it, so we just do and just cut and go through, you know.
So here's the deal. So you came to Rusea's 1980. Okay, I came to Rusea's 1981. When I met you, I had no clue that you gave your mother any trouble at all. When I met you, no clue at all. You kept it on the low.
Yeah, because you see, at that time I was in that transition mode.
Yes.
And but even before the carking of the dance, you know, I used to dance too, you know, Mr. D.
What, the S90 skank?
S90 skank. Yeah, remember Bruce Allen and this guy from Runner Pras, what them call him, Scorcher, Errol Scorcher. And he used to cook lunch for the soccer players them back in the 70s, going in the 80s. You know, Errol Scorcher, I used to call him. Yeah, I used to dance with them. You know, different concerts. I used to dress in my full khaki suit, you know, red, gold, and green belt, football socks, one football socks all the way to my knee and the next one down, big rag in a pocket. Yeah, I did.
S90.
I X90 skank. I did all of those things, you know. So, yeah, man, my journey was fruitful. You know?
So then I need to ask you this question. I came into Rusea's 1981 like a volcano, like a tornado, like a tsunami. What was, because at no point in time did you show any form of irritation, any form of disrespect. You and your brother were night and day in terms of academics. So even though you were sports 100%, you were extremely respectful. And to this day, as you share with me that you had another life, another street life, you never ever demonstrated or acted that out in Rusea's. My question to you is, how did you cope with my crazy seriousness? Because you were never flustered. I mean, you didn't do the work as much, but you were never flustered or angered by what I brought to you. How did you manage to juggle that? Because you were always respectful and always pleasant to me.
Good question.
And I was rough.
Yeah, good question. And so, okay. So at some point in your life, you start to realize that you have to make some changes.
Okay.
And I think 1980 was the time I started to develop into a teenager and to more. Because you see, the thing is, one thing we must understand, that during my era of growing up, the elders were very serious, and we have to respect our elders.
Yes.
So even though mom and dad may not be around us while we're on the streets, but
Yes.
elders were the one that actually kind of guide us, so to speak.
True. True. Yes.
So
Yep.
when I landed at Rusea's High School, right, and I started to do that transition,
Got you.
the
Got you.
football was there. So I became captain of the under 16 team in 1980.
Right away.
Right away.
Right away.
Right away.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So then
Okay.
that's where everything started to gain a little momentum.
Got you. I'm gonna transition into that, but I just want to take a pause and address a couple of things right here. I have wow. Yeah, it's lit. People are all over this right here. Okay. Carlton Alexander, Large Up Troy Bulla Malcolm, Glaswin Brivet, blessings everyone. Bless up yourself, Skipper Troy. Johnson Scarlett, good evening, all blessings, Troy. Finally get to hear your story, bro. Carlin Stewart, taught the secret, Greg. St. Ryan Steele, bless up my coach. The man who recruit me and teach me the sweeper role. Enough love and respect. With Wally emoji right there behind it. Carlton Alexander, what was your DJ name at the time, brother?
For those of you who don't, Carlton Alexander, St. Ryan Steele, Carlin, and the whole crew, Karen Malcolm, everybody, just thanks for tuning in. Thanks. Spooky, them used to call me, Mr. Dunkley, because actually,
Okay.
Spooky, yeah. So I had a little bowl hat, you know, and I just put it that. So, you know, they used to call me Spooky at the time, you know. So, yeah, it works, you know, because actually, my biggest accomplishment, even DJing at the time, was DJing down by Glass House in Negril with the great Lone Ranger. Back in the days, yeah, Lone Ranger was the DJ at the time for the guys who was from Montego Bay who know Soul to Soul. Soul to Soul used to come to Lucy on a regular basis. We used to base around Church Street, stone throw away from me. So they used to come and string up around there, come see SP and Ruthie and those people around there. So Lone Ranger was a big fan of Soul to Soul, used to tour with Soul to Soul. So SP and Ruthie just said, listen, see a young DJ and Mr. Ranger, carry him with you. And one night, went down Negro Glass House and he and I just do a little thing, you know, so it's part of the journey.
Yes. Yes.
No, we're gonna Troy, was there, yeah, if I could, Mr. Day, was there, so clearly you were deep into, I saw you were clearly deep into the music and I had a, you know, some remembrance of that. Was there a point in time that you sort of just stepped away from, because it seems like when you went to Rusea's, you sort of stepped away from, I remember you were still going to dances, but I don't think you were taking up the mic and doing all that stuff. But was there a point in time that you just felt it was time to put this down and shift gears a bit?
No, I want to tell you that my good friend, as a matter of fact, when I went to Rusea's, I still was DJing. Guess with who? Rowan Lodi Samuels.
Okay.
Yeah, so go tell you that because they used to call us the Three Stooges or something like that. So Lodi and I used to DJ. I was Michigan and he was Smiley. So we used to go on different concerts and DJ Michigan and Smiley all over. So yeah, man, anywhere you see me, you used to see Conk. Anywhere you see Conk, you see Lodi. All three of us at that point in time. So yeah, I DJ at Rusea's for probably about 2 years. And then I just call it quits.
Wow. And I would never believe that Rowan Samuels was a DJ because you couldn't get a word out of him in class. He was so quiet in class. Maybe he was too tired from DJing the night before. But here's a question I want to ask before we transition, because your journey is a serious testament to what we talked about, Mr. Henry, about the impact of having a purpose. Because as you said it, when Steve Buckner recruited you, you came to Rusea's and became captain immediately of the under 16.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect that trust that was put into you caused a shift, that responsibility that was given to you, and that opportunity, because back in those days, Rusea's was a thing, and was a big thing, because there were people from all over coming to Rusea's and wanting to come to Rusea's. So I sense, Gregory, if I'm not mistaken, that as Troy said, that there was some maturity that started to occur, some idea that, wait a minute, there's more to life, more to my life than what I saw earlier. Because when I met you, I knew you were very focused on soccer. There was no question about it. But there was that demeanor about you that was not rough. There was no roughness. There was a gentleness. What I want to ask you is, as a sibling, how did you feel when you had a brother who was so academically focused and driven, and you found that because you were not investing in your academics, you were not in the same league? How did that affect you? And this is going back because we're going to see how later on, even though you started your journey differently, you have actually taken like quantum leap, and you have grown exponentially after that. But during those years, those early years, how did you feel as a sibling in the same household, same opportunities, same resources, and Gregory took a different path from you? How did you feel?
You know, I'm always very proud of my brother's accomplishment. And it was also a challenge. But I think, you know, in retrospect, I push him to a certain limit where a lot of siblings would not do. And even Shadwick right up to this day would say to me, you know, every time I see Chinel, you know, he's always in the book, you know, making past the front gate. So I know what the streets was like.
Yes.
So my thing as a bigger brother was to protect him. But I think I was too overprotective because, you know, he missed out on a lot of things. You know, because when
you can't afford any other things I miss out, man.
Which is true, but you know, I think I gave him the opportunity to excel beyond his expectation.
Yes. Yeah, I can see that, because when he said that he could not pass the gate, you chased him back home. That was protective. That was very, very protective. So it's consistent with what your brother said. So at the time, it might not have appeared that way. But yes, you were saying, this is my street. You do the other way. And it worked. And then later on now, you change gear and do your thing. So that's a good thing, because most times there is a rift, there's friction, you know, between siblings, and there's even discord and jealousy. But there was never, ever, ever a time when that was displayed between the two of you. You just enjoyed your life, and Gregory just enjoyed seeking after more knowledge and more knowledge and more knowledge. That's all he was interested in. And you were just enjoying sports, and that's it. But you, as you said, you protecting him, and that's powerful. So Gregory, asking you the question, you saw your brother taking a different path from you. How did you feel?
You know, I recognizing the different paths, you know, clearly there was great admiration in terms of what he was doing, particularly, you know, when you see him being appointed captaincy of, you know, of the different soccer teams and stuff. But I, you know, I never felt that he would stray to the point of no return, right? Despite all the stuff that was going on, because I felt that we had a family nucleus and a family, you know, grounded in certain values that, you know, I knew it could only go so far, but would ultimately fall back in the fold. You know, so despite all that was sort of going on, you know, I clearly, even being kids then, right, you still felt that there was a nucleus when we were all together, and you know, there was the respect he showed to the elders, as he said, mom,
Yes.
uncle,
Yes.
dads, etc. That you just felt, regardless of what was going on, things were still solid, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
no, listen, I'm proud of what he accomplished in the early days, and you're right, he wasn't focused on his education too much. But one thing I knew is that he tried, right? He definitely tried, and he tried to balance both despite taking on the sporting stuff wholeheartedly.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to piggyback on that. I just want to pause. While I'm pausing, I'm going to visit your mom in a second. But Norwin checked in. After Carlton asked about your DJ name, Norwin said, General Troy, you are the true general. And he said, Troy, I don't deal with boss. And Carlton Alexander laughing up. Okay, Garnet Denton. Bless up, Mr. Malcolm. Enough love from the William Nib family. Keep up the good work. Enough love, Mr. Denton. Okay? So here's a question I want to ask you. As your teacher, and not just your teacher, I strongly believe that with the two of you, we were more than teacher, student. There was something magical that was not spoken, but to the different events in your lives that I've had the privilege of being a part of, I honestly feel like family. My question to you is this: with all the stuff that your mom went through, how is it that your mom was so calm, so composed, and never seemed flustered whenever there was a conversation, whenever I met her and we are dialoguing, parent, teacher, she was never like flustered. She was just so even keel, so soft-spoken, so calm. Even though you were like a pain in the neck. How come she maintained that personality, and then at home she would like go crazy all over you? How did she manage to do that?
Well, as I said before, you see, when you're having that interaction face to face with her, she's going to give you that demeanor, that calm demeanor.
Yes.
But
yes.
I get the beating for all my siblings, Yeah, I get the beating for all my siblings. So,
and rightly so. And rightly so.
Yeah. And it was well deserved, because and I'm going to say, because you see, there's a lot of kids out there as we speak, and they despise their parents because their parents are strict and disciplined. I could never do that.
Right.
I have a resentment against my mother.
Right.
Because what she has done for all four of us has transformed our lives to make it better, so she can live a simpler life and a healthier life and a better life.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Well said. Absolutely. And she was your rock.
absolutely.
No question about it. She was your rock. And of course, we have something in common because my mother was my rock.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of the reason why there was this
Connection.
synergy.
Yeah.
There was a synergy because I walked that pathway but you were fortunate because your dad was in the picture. Mine was not.
Right.
You see, because I knew your dad very well.
Yeah.
You understand? But in my case, my father was nowhere in Jamaica. He was miles and miles away from Jamaica. But she held the fort down tight. Greg, you wanna jump in? You have a thought on this?
I mean, you talk about the relationship, and part of it, and I know a lot of your students will appreciate this, is that you had a nucleus of teachers that came in to our lives at a point in time, right? Yourself, Mr. Connell, etc. And for a lot of us, it clicked, right? That's when, for a lot of us, the light bulb sort of went on, and because of that, then there's a certain affinity that's built up between us and you guys, and I think of all the teachers, clearly you and myself and Troy, we've built a bigger bond across the years, a stronger bond across the years than maybe other teachers did, but I sort of reflect on those parent teachers conferences, and there's a genuineness to the conversation that was being had between you and mom, right? It wasn't just at the parent teachers conferences, right? It would be on the streets, right? So there's a real genuine caring that was happening, about how we collectively grow these two boys to be better men, right? So I think that's what over time we've come to reflect on that and realize the importance of what you've contributed to where we are today. So it's again part of the journey.
Yes. So back to you, Mr. President. You are evidence of what I say, that when young people, when youth have a reason, a purpose for their existence, it transforms. Because you took soccer seriously and you invested in it, and it has done well for you. But have you ever realized that that discipline and that success that you had in soccer, you were able to use all of those characteristics and transfer all of them into management? I don't know if you realize it, because you were very good at what you did, not only skillfully, but knowledge-wise. And your progression went to not just on the field, but in the staff room. You see, even without you doing extensive academic training, you were placed in a position of trust because you were good at your craft and you could be trusted. That speaks volume of who you are.
Thank you so much, Sadi. So that transition. Okay. All right. You remember two teams back in the days that used to. They were the Water and Seba of Lucy. That's Negos United and Rectory.
Yes.
So Rectory used to own, the head of it was Mr. Walters, right? He was from Australia. So you used to fly in guys from England and Australia to come and play for Rectory. So Rector was a discipline area. That same Lucy Preparatory School right there as we speak, that's where the guys like Zaro and Trevor and Rupert and those guys, they used to train at night underneath the lights. So when we as a kid used to hear about playing under the lights, a bulb just lit. So but the other team now, which is Negos, all Rastafarians. All Rastafarians playing on that team. So I was attracted to the Negos team. At one point in time, and I'm gonna share this story because this is a funny story. I was going around with Robert Young, that's Shrimpy. So when they hear Shrimpy versus Zaro, that Zaro used to play for Rectory, Shrimpy used to play for Negos. It was a big clash. Right. It's just like Winston Anglin playing for Wadadan and Noah playing for Seba. Same thing.
Noah, yes.
So the Negos used to have the Rastafarians, them and Kete drum beating, chalice licking and all those things like that. Watson Taylor Park used to pack. So all of them was Rastafarian. Mr. Henry used to play for Negos, but he was not dreadlocked. So he was one of the only ballad on the team. He was one of the only ballad on the team. So I used to start to grow my ear, and I wasn't trying to laugh, but my mother thinks I was trying to laugh. So one Sunday morning in March, we down to the barber shop. Enel was the barber name.
How old are you then? How old are you?
Probably in my teens, man. Probably about 15.
And your mother?
Yeah,
your slim mother.
Yeah,
your slim mother. She was fine,
march me down to the barber shop, tuck me down in the barber chair, and say, Enel, cut it off. And I'm start to fuss and carrying on and twist and turn in the chair. And my mother grabbed the brush, the barber brush. And when my mother threw that barber brush in my forehead, when the brush coming back up, I see a big cocoa following the brush. Big cocoa come up. Yeah, I stood still the same time and cut off a lot of it. If I think about, say I'm growing my hair like say I want to become a Rasta no more. So yeah, man, Rector and Robert Young, they were stalwarts back then in Lucy. You know, they taught me a lot. Those guys taught me a lot, but it was discipline. You know, so that the discipline factor start to come from them as well. You know,
and it worked for you. It worked for you.
Yeah, it works. You know, and then there was the branch off of a lot of players from Negos and Rectory. Now they form another team called Zodiac. That's with Sackett and Anthony Marks and those guys, John Campbell, Mark Chambers, all of Dewey, all of those guys. They form another team called Zodiac. You know, with a branch off. So I was around all of these guys. They were good guys, never get themselves into no problem, no police problem, nothing. Just good guys, just go out and just enjoy themselves.
Yes. Beautiful. So I'm gonna spend a little bit more time on sports because I really want to spend some time on your career after soccer because that is huge, and I truly believe that there's a correlation between the discipline and the responsibilities that you had as a sportsman.
Right.
I do believe that those skills were transferred into your career. I really, really believe that because it was from there you started to believe that bigger things are available to you. So soccer, you have done a lot of things in soccer. And with Mr. Henry and others, your name keep coming up over and over and over. Give me some of the highlights that you have had with soccer, ending up with you coaching one of the Jamaican national teams. Talk to us.
Okay, all right. So my journey, okay. First of all,
can you do me a favor? Do me a big favor?
Yeah.
Can you big up some of those people who support the Rusea's Brosis Foundation for me? Because I really appreciate others who care enough to share with us. You could just, as Mr. President, you know, I've heard from you multiple times. Can you big them up?
As you heard, Mr. Garnet Denton, aka Codfish, he's from William Nib, you know, and Keegan Simpson, they are major supporters of the Rusea's Brothers Sister Foundation Inc. They'll be at the Blue and White event.
Beautiful.
You know, I'm Sure Sports, that's management from Westmoreland. They're a big supporter of it. Each and every day that management have his I'm Sure Sports, he promote the Blue and White event, he promote the William Nib event. So those people, Mr. Donaldson from Mannings as well, he is also a big supporter. Keith Thompson, Badas from Herbert Morrison, they're a big supporter of this. So, and our upcoming event, our Blue and White event, May 28th, please come and support. It's for a worthy cause, you know. So, but I'll touch base on that further down in the interview.
Yes, and you did say that, is it William Nib having something on,
yes,
on the 30th?
Yeah, May 30th. May 30th in Mount Vernon. Yeah, they're having a fundraising event just like us. They want to give back to William Nib High School as well. So they'll, you know, so they're coming to support us, and we're going to do the same thing on Monday.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So just before you transition, I just want to take a time here now to mention Mr. Kenyon Connell is checking in. Sean and Dunkley, good night, everyone. Much love and appreciation, Captain. You're doing a wonderful job. Here comes Mr. Connell. Mr. D, both Troy and his brother Gregory conducted themselves very well in my POB, Principle of Business class. Troy and Gladwin, first 2 D Cup players to pass CXC Principle of Business. Big up.
Yes,
That's big. That's big. Gladwin Griffith lived with Troy and Greg. He put a note in there that he lived with both of you. That's powerful. That's powerful. So you see how God is good? Your mom is struggling to keep pieces together, and there was enough love to open the door to others. You see that? It takes a village. How powerful is that? Oh, so wait a minute. Is Gregory put something in the chat here? I see. Yes, Mr. C, you were instrumental in those years. I got you, Mr. Connell. Good. Greg, we're responding to Mr. Connell. And Greg said, yes, Kerr, remember those days like it was yesterday. Still waiting for that foreign sneaker that you promised me. Uh-huh. It's out there now. Word out there. Glaswin, I got you, Greg. Good. KS, bless up Troy. So KS, the initial KS. Okay. So talk to us now about some of those soccer highlights, because I want to transition over into your corporate journey, because I want to show that sports and professional career, they're not mutually exclusive. They can coexist. And as a matter of fact, one can build on the other. So you are a prime example of that. So give us some highlights of your soccer career leading up to you coaching a Jamaican team.
Okay.
Talk to me.
All right. So I think my journey actually started in 1983. And so 1981, 1982, we weren't successful in regards to the Docker Cup team. And it was coached by Mr. Carl Loggy, Bigger Loggy. You know, he and I still touch base together from time to time. We had a very good team at the time, but something wasn't just, it wasn't, weren't clicking. One reason or the other, I don't know. I think it was basically the formation, because I think we were playing a 4-2-4 formation, and I don't think it was conducive to our style of play and the type of players we had. Mr. Miller, love that man to death. Mr. Miller, Mr. Henry, Mr. Hamilton, Mr. Hendricks, Mr. Richards, Mr. Cornell, you, Mr. B, I think, and Mr. Clark. Collectively, I think what happened, you guys sees fit for Rusea to make a change at the time. And you might hear Linton Stewart say it the other day in regards to how Mr. Henry got the job, in regards to down by Long Acres and the Rocks, and you know, Mr. Miller posed the question to him, and he accepted. So everything that I've gained from that point is because of Mr. Miller and Mr. Henry.
Yes.
They're the one who set the foundation for who I am today, based on in terms of discipline, structure, and everything.
Beautiful.
So,
beautiful.
I remember they make a wholesale change in regards to the team. A lot of guys then came back from the 1981 and 82 team. So we start fresh. Remember, Rusea's did not have any home field advantage. Our home ground was Jarrett Park.
Wow.
Viewers, are you listening to what I'm saying? Our home game was at Jarrett Park, in Cornwall College backyard, in Herbert Morrison backyard. Now, how did the journey started? It wasn't easy. So, start the camp, train 3 times a day.
Wow.
Let me tell you how tough this journey was. We were sleeping on cardboards, probably 2 sheets, some sponge, porridge every single day. And we had the whistle blow, 6 o'clock in the morning, Mr. Henry is ready. Errol Williams, Linton Kong Stewart, Glaswin Corey Brevet, Leslie Holt Blair, Donald Hewitt, Edward Chinny Campbell, Chadwick Wright, Kenneth Gaynor Blacks, Capel Donaldson, Rowan Samuels, Peter Barr, Esso, Myces Paul. Yeah, that was our team. I think Dion Kelly and Lenny as well. All of those guys, when we were playing for Rusea's High School, we were also playing Premier League soccer at the same time.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Every single team in Western Jamaica at the time were in the National Premier League at the time. You're talking about Seba, Wadada, Reno, Violet Kickers. You could go on and on.
Mm-hmm.
But we were.
What a team from Westmoreland name again? What
Reno,
a team from West?
Reno.
Reno, right? Reno, yes, yes, yes.
And Westland as well. There was
Yes.
another team.
Reno is one that I know.
Westland. Yes. So what Mr. Henry did, you know, we were playing. When we were playing friendlies, we weren't playing any schoolboy teams.
Mm.
Our friendlies was against Seba. Our friendly was against Wadada. Our friendly was against an all-star team from Lucy. Our friendly was against Violent Kickers.
Mm.
So we even play Westland in Watson Taylor Park with the lights of Anthony Corbett.
Mm.
Same shirt and Samuels used to play for Westland. Yeah, and we drove 2-2 with them at Watson Taylor Park. So when we step on that field 1983, we didn't fear no one.
Got you. Got you.
So
Got
we were playing. The first game we play, I think Cornwall will beat Cornwall 2-0 at Jared Park. I think the second game we draw 0-0, I think. And that same year they beat us 1-0 with my good friend that's on the platform right now, Mr. Carlton Clary Alexander, score a 78-minute goal, and you know all the curry that they're planning Lucy, we couldn't celebrate, you know. But so that was a defeat that make us stronger.
Got you. Got you. Got you.
You know?
Was Cornwall the toughest team that year, or would you say there are other teams that sort of was challenging Rusea that year?
There were other teams, but Cornwall is always Cornwall.
Yes.
And if you ask Cornwall, they will say Rusea is always Rusea.
Yes.
You know, that final, I think that's it. I never seen so much people at Jared Park yet in all my life. 1983 final. And I think I remember even you, Mr. Dunkley, said at one point to me that you're glad we didn't win because there was so much violence. Even though we lost the game, a lot of our supporters got beat up.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
You know? So
Yeah.
that was a painful loss, 1983. But how I became captain in 1983, we're training, regular, and I think that's where the leadership started to come out in me. And one time, myself and Shadrach Wright and Gaynor Blacks were pulling the line, and Linton Kongstewart, was acting weird the day and like he didn't want to train and stuff. And I said, listen, we're not here to farm full, we're here to work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And him get vexed, him put up him boots underneath him arm and go home. Yeah, him walk and go home. But guess what? Not one player went back and called him.
Mm.
Not one. Because we're on a mission.
Yes, yes.
And then you heard that we're doing great, and we're playing all these friendlies, and and then we all see him walk come back and join the squad again, and we start to bubble again. Best left back in Jamaica at the time, Linton Kongstewart.
Right. Oh yes. Oh yes.
So Troy, can I ask one question?
Sure.
I recall the Cornwall, the finals. I think there was some. Kenneth Gaynor Blacks obviously was the star forward at the time, but I recall, if my memory serves me right, that he missed a penalty or so. He missed a penalty, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and what was there sort of any discontent within the team? Because I know externally, people in the public was probably, a bit irate at him, but was there some stuff within the team itself that you guys had to manage, or?
Okay. Before I get to your question, Greg, I'm going to fast forward a little bit to show you the journey of that 1983 team. And here, Glasgow Burwick said he lived with us.
Hey, Troy, you're going into a lot of detail, and I want you to highlight because I have some, it's 10 o'clock, and I want to deal with your corporate journey. So I want you to, I know it's a lot of stuff and it's your passion and your heart, but I'm going to need you to bring it in because I want some of the highlights reaching to your coaching the Jamaica national team. So if you could do me, clean that up and then give me some of the highlights, especially that game with Dintil.
Yeah.
I want you to remember that game with Dintil. So do me a favor, bring it up because I know it's a hard journey, but I want to touch your corporate journey because that's important to me.
It's a long journey, and if you notice that it was that love that we have for each other, and just going back to my mom.
Yes.
Even Mother's Day, Edward Chinny Campbell leave a voice note. Every single time Chinny called, he said, "Listen, big up mommy for me, because she took care of us." At one point in time, Mr. Dunkley, I have about 8 people living at my house, 8 footballers from the 1980s.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. That's why you hear Corey just said that a while ago.
Wow.
Yeah, my mom take him because it was too costly for the footballers to travel back and forth from Montego Bay to Lucy.
Wow. God bless her, man.
Yeah.
God bless her.
You know, so all right, let's move forward because I know time is going.
Before you do, I need to have some people beginning up. Patricia Sterling, Blessings Coach, Rowan Lottie Samuels, Yes, Mr. D, Troy and Gregory, Diani DB, enough excitement. Richard Johnson, remembering the 1983 finals like yesterday. I was a first former, but redemption came in 1984. Go ahead.
Yeah, so while we're playing 1983, several of us get called to play for Wadada, some for Reno, some for Seba. Now, the reason why 7 of us get called for Wadada at the time, the only person that was playing for Wadada at the time from Rusea was Kenneth Gina Black. Gene Gray came to Mr. Henry and myself and, you know, said he needs some players. 7 of us went. Mr. Miller wasn't pleased because at the same time we're playing Dacosta Cup. So we're going to play Dacosta Cup, Division 1 and Premier League at the same time. Now, what happened that Gene Gray sent one of the football team to North America on a tour. And guess what happened? The whole entire team run off.
Ouch. Ouch.
Wadada have no team whatsoever. So we wanted to kind of build back Wadada to where it was. And then they have Carlton Alexander came on board, you know, Fallis came. Mr. Henry was in coaching Wadada at one point in time. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Earlier when we just started, Mr. Henry was coaching Wadada at a point in time. You know, but I have to raise my hat to this person that owned Wadada. He may as well rest in peace, Mr. Gene Gray. Mr. Gene Gray paid for all 7 of us that was playing for Wadada our full graduation outfit. Didn't cost our mom and dad 1 cent. Take care of it. Yeah.
Respect.
You know, so that was the Wadada journey. Then I received a call from Mr. Miller and Mr. Henry for me to meet them down at Rusea's High School.
Yes.
And they said they have a job for me. And I was shocked, was surprised. That's after I graduated in 1983.
Yes.
So they said, you know, for me to work with Mr. Henry as Mr. Henry assistant, and I'm also going to teach phys ed.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. But one thing I must say about the Rusea's family, you know, my transition was smooth.
Yes. Yes.
Because when I went to the original Rusea's campus, the likes of Miss Jones, Miss Shippey, Miss Mitchell, Miss Mason, Miss Roper, you know, I could go on and on. warm welcome.
Beautiful, beautiful.
You know, Mr. Marks. So what happened at the time, and Mr. Wallace and those guys, you know, so what happened at that time is that I started to develop something, and myself and the PE teachers, we started to come up with different things in terms of how we can be more creative than let the boys and girls go out and just playing games. So we started to implement things like, let's give them some tests. Tests about the measurement of the football field or the netball court or the track and field. So we started to give them tests, and they were saying, why Mr. Malcolm, give me tests? Yeah, but you can't play a sport we don't know the dimension or how much a ball weighs or what's the height and width of a goal post. So myself and Mr. Henry journey started from as coach and as coaches from 1984 to 1990 when I migrated.
Wow. Wow.
We went together, both of us took Rusea's to every single final from 1983 to 1990.
Wow. Wow.
So when we were having camps and even before camps, I had a difficult task at cutting the squad. And one thing you know, if you know Mr. Miller don't like idlers, don't like to see people coming, boys coming and wasting time and come eat out the food. He's always concerned about, listen, camp is for men, not for boys. So my job as Mr. Henry, you say, listen, you take care of that on Friday. So every Friday we used to cut the squad. So I think I've got it right 80% of the time, because between 83 and 1990, we only lost the Doncaster Cup twice, and I just get to Herbert Morrison. Well, apart from Cornwall College in 1983 when I was a player, but as a coach, 86 and 88 was the only two-time we lost the Doncaster Cup. So I think.
And to whom? And to Herbert Morrison both times?
Herbert Morrison
both times?
Yeah, both times, yeah.
Wow, wow. Yeah. Before you go on, Donovan Craigie, very inspiring story, Troy and Gregory. Mr. Connell, Troy, you mentioned your mom a lot, and she's so deserving. Your home training was evident in class and on the field of play. I've always said there will be no good teachers without good students, for real. Norwin Phillips, Richard Johnson, what's up, man? Richard Johnson, Daya Norwin, everything good. Norwin Phillips, yes, I go to see you here, brother. Richard Johnson, always. Norwin Phillips, Troy was the first person that taught me how to swing a baseball bat. See?
Yeah, you always say that. I learned that from Mr. Wallace.
That's big. So listen up.
Okay.
Let's make a business decision. There are three of us here. Your story is extensive. I don't want to speed through your corporate journey. Do you think we should plan to have a part 2 so we can deal some more with what we need to deal with in the sports section? And then the part 2, we deal with the corporate, because I really don't want to rush. And it's already after 10. So if that's the case, then we can spend some more time on talking about the soccer. What do you think? Management, talk to me.
That's fine. You know,
Greg, what do you think?
Yeah, and
because
I think
that's
that makes sense.
I need to address the corporate journey, because that's something that is very significant to me. Okay, but at the same time, I know that you're very passionate about the relationships that were built through soccer. You follow? And then that is going to come into we spending some time talking about the Colin Miller project. If you understand what I'm saying. Okay. So good. As a coach, Mr. Henry was seasoned. How did you carve your style as you look at Mr. Butner and Mr. Henry and your own style and understanding of the soccer itself. How did you develop your strategy?
Well, you see, there's a trust factor between myself and Mr. Henry. And how I started to develop my own style, he trusts me with the under 14 team. He trusts me with the under 16 team.
Okay.
So you see, so what we did, so we start our journey in terms of, we know that seasons don't start until September.
Yes.
But why wait until September? We start our preparation from as early as March, April.
What?
Yeah, from March, April. So the same, and I want even the Jamaican people or JFF to listen what we're saying, because we're going to take them on a journey. Now, you see, the under 14, the under 16, and the Dakar team, we're playing the same system, the same style.
Okay.
So, so what we'll do is that we'll select 2 or 3 players from the under 14 and transition them to the under 16 even before their time, even before they're ripe.
Okay.
Same thing with the under 16. The under 16 is the same thing. So we used to have guys who were 14, 15 playing for the Dakar Cup squad.
Oh, wow.
So Troy, when was that system put in place? When
we started that from 1984.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, we started that from 1984.
Wow.
You know, and the journey, because I want to tell you that even after I leave 1990, after we win the Dakar Cup about Oliver Shield cycle with St. Ryan Steele and those guys, Mr. Henry called on my phone for almost 2 years, you know. Say I should come back home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. When did you migrate, by the way? 1990?
Yeah, 1990. After we won the Dakar Cup about Oliver Shield final, and then I migrated immediately after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. As a coach, give me 3 of your top highlights. I know it's going to be many, but just give me 3 of them. As a coach, some of your best memories as a coach.
You're gonna make some of my players and me know. But
You don't have to call names. You can.
Okay. I think when we came back from that 2-love down when we were playing at the National Stadium, with Pelican score, there's Angelo scored that equalized his goal. 1985 team, very special team. Won 4 titles and never been done again.
Wow.
Yeah, so that 1985 team was a very, very special team.
Wow.
I can't leave out my 1983 team. We didn't win the Dakar Cup team. We didn't win the Dakar Cup, but everybody will tell you about that game against Dintle. I wasn't a coach, but I was a player. So they always refer to that 1983 Dintle, or that team, along with that 78 team with Horace Donnyboy Samuels and Sheridan Samuels and those guys. You know,
Swelly
and those guys. Yeah.
Yes.
So St. Ryan Steele, their team was also, I think that was one of our proudest moments as coaches as well, Mr. D. And I think if you probably ask Mr. Henry, will tell you that, because no one gave them a chance. No one gave, because the 1988 team, everybody thought that they were gonna win it when they got beaten by Herbert Marson. That have the likes
Okay.
of Denton Summers and those guys. You know, so Garnett there was the one who basically kind of pulled that team along with St. Ryan Steele.
Wow.
Yeah, so no one in the world expect them to, because there was a team, Excelsior had Walter Boyd, Alan Skillcole's son,
Okay.
another defender, I don't remember his actual name, but his nickname was Jeep and Tanker. And they won the Manning Cup, and everybody's saying they're going to blow Russies out of the water. And I think it's 6-1 we gave them in Kingston.
What?
Yeah,
6-1?
6-1. Yeah.
That's the Oliver Shield?
Yeah, the Oliver Shield.
Mercy. I never hear them kind of numbers, eh?
Yeah, 6-1.
I never hear them kind of numbers, eh?
And Alco and Michael England and St. Ryan Steele and those guys, turn them over up there.
What?
Who was the captain? Who was captain of the team?
St. Ryan Steele.
Okay.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Country come to town and tear it up.
Yeah, man. So, you know, you see Rusty's, when we're traveling, you see the local vendors,
Yes.
and I'm looking at a business perspective now. The local vendors, they want Rusty's to be in the zone rounds.
Yes.
Especially when we're going to St. Elizabeth, passing the border, going to St. Elizabeth. Those people, they love Rusty's. They want to see, because they fish, they bomb sell off.
Sell out.
Yeah, Rusty's coming through. If Rusty's don't make it to the interzone,
Problem.
yeah, problem. It's a lose money.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
Yes.
so one of another highlight of my coaching career, and a lot of people don't remember this. I was a coach of the All the Costa Cup squad 1986.
All the Costa Cup.
All the Costa.
1986.
1986.
That's big. That's big.
With the same Codfish Denton there.
Wow.
They're from William.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big.
Mark Hagler Wilson.
That's
Denton
big.
Samuels. Tanto from Herbert Marson. Anthony Thomas, that's badass. Yeah. Yeah. I coached all that
That's
stuff.
big.
1986. Yeah.
Wow. That's a big compliment.
Mm-hmm.
Big compliment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I come back to what I've said, and I really, really mean it. You know, Dr. Martin Luther King said, whatever you find to do it with all your might. And your investment in soccer has worked very well for you. I mean, for you to be taken on staff without formal training is massive, and it gives you the type of vision that Mr. Miller had. You know what I'm saying? To put that trust in you.
Mm-hmm.
One, you were young, and two, you were not professionally trained,
Mm-hmm.
but that he invested in you, and it paid off big time. You know, so it takes somebody with guts to make those type of moves, because it was not normal. It was a big move that he made, but it paid big dividends. So again, I join you in saluting him, along with Mr. Henry, for giving you that opportunity to put your print on Rusty's, you know, and that just goes to show why you have such a passion for the project. That is one of our strongest motivation as an organization. So I would love us to speak to the Rusty's Brosis Foundation and your role as president. And then the next time we come together, we'll talk about your corporate journey. But how did you get involved with this Rusty's Brosis Foundation? How did this come about? Talk to me.
Okay. Before I jump to that, but also Mr. Miller, as I said before, he saw something in me that I think a few people probably, see. And actually, he also entrusts my knowledge at the time as a young man.
Yes, yes.
I was also coaching at the Lucy Preparatory School, you know.
Wow.
He
Before we
orchestrated,
go any further,
yeah,
I have to bring this in. Mr.
yeah.
Ryan Steele, Saint Ryan Steele said, our name for Troy as our coach was Slave Driver. That says something. And Colin Stewart say yes. Norwin Phillips say yes. And Norwin Phillips part 2. Lloyd Campbell, where the name Bulla comes from.
All right.
Norwin Phillips part 2. Norwin Phillips keep telling us part 2. Karine Malcolm agreed, absolutely part 2. So I'm getting support for the part 2. So we're definitely going to be doing part 2. Rand Steele said, we have the best feeder system. The best feeder system. I guess it has to do with the under 14, the under 16, the Costa Cup. That's what I'm thinking. Patricia Thelwell, 78, 83, 85. And you know Patricia Thelwell don't play. Wicked teams. You know, she knows the numbers. You know that.
Football,
Miss
no,
T,
yeah.
big up. You know, Karine Malcolm, big up skipper, #1 top shelf. That's for Ryan Steele. First time Russie's won the Oliver Shield outright. Yes, Ron Samuels. I remember that, Troy, Ryan Steele. Troy, a big coach. See that? Yes. So back to you now.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. Sporty want to know how I got that name, right? So,
Yes. Bulla.
Bulla, okay. Now, based on what I've heard from my parents and my parents, my grandfather used to own a bakery in the Lucy Market back in the days. So he used to bake a lot of buns and bulla and those, you know. So that's where the name got. So they used to call my great grandfather Sonny Bulla. So then my uncle now got the name from his father,
Sonny Bulla.
Sonny Bulla. And as I said before earlier in the interview, a lot of people thought that
He was
Sonny
your
Bulla
father.
was my father. And
Got
that's where you know I got the name. I just stick, you know. So
Got you.
yeah, you know.
Got you. So
But my journey, as I said before, it was a great support system.
yes.
And from all
yes.
the teachers at Russey's High School. But it's not just the teachers. I could not come and do this interview or conduct this interview without acknowledging some other folks down there. The groundsmen at Russey's, the Mr. Marks, the Bogle and those guys who day in, day out to ensure that the field was properly cut and well kept at the time. You know, the cooks, you know, the Miss Roslyn, Miss Green, and the Cookie, Patsy, Miss Taylor from over, all those people play a pivotal part in the development of my life and to ensure that we, as Russey's High School, the soccer players at Russey's High School was very successful. You know, they were there as early in the 4 a.m., 5 a.m. cooking the footballers' meal.
Wow.
You know, so I could never come on this platform and don't highlight those people as well because they were part of our journey, and our journey is their journey.
Nice. So what I would like you to do for me is just mention to us, because we're gonna, you know, I'm taking a time check. It's 10:24. Just quickly give us an idea. How did you get involved with this Russey's Brosis Foundation? Because people need to know it didn't just happen just so. There was a motivation behind it. Talk to me, because I think now that we have spoken about your journey and the role that soccer has played, I think it's a good segue to go into how this Russey's Brosis Foundation came into being.
Okay. It was with the death of Mr. Fabian Lawrence, Lawrence, and you know, a group of footballers. You know, there's a few netballers that was on it as well. You know, we decided that We want to do something. But what, so what we did, we pull our resources together and assist in the burial or the sending home of Mr. Pirate or Fabian Lawrence. But we decided that we could do much more
Yes.
than that.
Okay.
Because what is carrying us right now is the bond that we have as soccer players that what Mr. Miller and Mr. Henry has developed and instilled
Correct.
in us.
Yes.
So, but I'm also a salesman as well. Carlin and DB could have put up the post right there so people can donate as well, because I'm going to, we want them to donate. This is what we're doing now, Mr. D. So we form a nucleus together. And
Yes.
but we decided that we can do much more for Rusea's High School. For far too long. I'm talking about from 1986 when Mr. Miller worked his magic along with a lot of people to get that playing field down there.
Yes.
And there's no other school like Rusea's who have made so much money, but we don't have a bathroom down there over the field.
Okay. Understood.
So we're saying that we can change that. We need to change that.
Yes.
Our supporters, remember, a lot of them do not work a regular 9 to 5, but they will sacrifice that $200 to come to a game.
Okay.
But when they come to a game, what do they do? They stand in bushes.
Okay.
We as Brosis say, listen, we have to do better. We must do better.
Yes.
But it's far beyond sports this Brosis Foundation is going.
Yes.
Because our vision and mission is a 10 to 15-year plan and beyond.
Yes.
So what we're saying is that, listen, let's build a sports complex.
Yes.
So the sports complex will sustain itself and other programs at Rusea's High School.
Yes.
Academia, technical drawing, plumbing, electrical. We can host Western boys and girl champs.
Yes.
We generate funds. But what we're saying that we want to build a state-of-the-art mini complex. But everybody's saying, oh, bros, this is too ambitious. We can't do this. No, because you know why? People are looking at the enormity of doing things. Yes, it will take a lot of money. But you know what Brosis says? One project at a time.
Got you. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to offer to the team. Next week, Tuesday, is the Tuesday before our Blue and White affair. I would like to have our part 2 next week, Tuesday. Do you think we can do that?
Yeah, we can do that.
You think we can do that? So at least we'll deal with that and also be able to highlight the significance of what we're going to do next week on the 28th. So that could be a big part of our focus next week. So I think it's a good idea for us to pull it together next week and we just blast the airways so that everybody knows that next week, Tuesday, we're having another empowerment night. And we're getting to part 2. Rowan, Kay Clark, give a hand clap. Rowan Samuel said we should have a part 2. Ryan Steele said, bless up Richard. Kenrick Chambers, for real. Jeffrey Samuels, Sir Malcolm, and Kareen Malcolm, brilliant idea, great minds. Seville Swearing, great job, Mr. Malcolm. Okay? Mr. Gregory, any thoughts as we close this part 1 of something that is an extremely successful journey? And again, success takes different form. And what I'm mostly excited about is that Troy's journey didn't go straight. It took a winding road, but the finish is amazing. You know, it's amazing, and it's
Yeah.
still not done yet. So I want to put it out there, put it on blast. I am absolutely proud of what you took what you enjoyed and made it into something big. You know, people
Yeah.
learn differently, but you took what you enjoyed and you have turned it into something big. And nobody seeing you today could know how you were for the first 14 years, first 15 years. And that the highlight of that is we should never count anyone out, but we should always create opportunities for individuals to find their way to go to the next level. Mr. Gregory Malcolm, you want to chip in with anything right here before we do our
Yeah,
commercials?
no, no, it's been a very interesting and actually insightful night for me. I mean, I've learned a number of things here that I actually didn't know despite the closeness of our relationship.
Wow.
You know, which
Wow.
has gotten extremely tighter as the years have gone by. And you know, I mean, we'll talk about his corporate journey in
Yes.
segment 2, but you know, that in
Yes.
and of itself is quite an inspiring story that I encourage everyone to tune in and listen to. And you know, I'm sure
Absolutely.
Troy will share more about the foundation itself and the vision and mission, and you know, just how we're trying to you know lift everyone together, you know, for a brighter future, particularly students at Rusea. So you know, very very inspiring for me just listening, sitting back listening. I know, you know, I probably didn't have as much questions as you did, but you know, for me it was quite enthralling, and just hearing the dialogue was super
But,
inspiring.
but your presence here is significant because in your own way, you're an inspiration for Gregory, for Troy. You did what you did and you excel at what you did. And he had a reference point that both of you are coming from the same table, from the same pot. And you did what you did on an international level. That's inspiration, that's motivation, and that's a part of the fire that burned inside of Troy that allowed him to go to the next level. So it's all interconnected, it's all related. And that's why this is such a beautiful synergy right here. You know, I just want to take this time to just celebrate William Nib, and celebrate Mannings, celebrate Cornwall College, you know, the schools of the West. You know, sometimes people think that we need to have everything for ourselves, but you know what? If William Nib is strong, and Mannings is strong, and Cornwall is strong, and Rusea is strong, all of us are strong. So it is good when we get to a place now where we can embrace each other, support each other, and encourage each other. So May 28th is Rusea's Brosis Blue and White event in the Bronx, New York. You have to be there. And then on May 30th is the William Nib barbecue in Mount Vernon. You have to be there. William Nib will be supporting us in the Bronx on the 28th, and we'll be supporting William Nib in Mount Vernon on the 30th. You can't afford to miss it. There is the flyer, and we just want to say thank you to each and everyone who tuned in to us. This is part 1. You cannot afford to miss part 2. So tune in next week, Tuesday night at 9 o'clock for part 2 of this great event. Mr. Troy Malcolm, Mr. President, let it be recorded that we are absolutely proud of you. We want to thank you for leading the Rusea's Brosis Foundation. Being president is not an easy path. It's not an easy way. It's not an easy road. But you have embraced it, and you have sacrificed, and you have invested. And it's growing, and it's doing things. It has already accomplished many things. But I, along with others, believe that there are many more to come. Do you have any parting words as we part for part 1, as we prepare for part 2 next week? Mr. Troy Malcolm, do you have any final words you'd like to share with our audience?
First and foremost, I want to thank you, Mr. Dunkley, and my bro, Gregory Chinel Malcolm. Both of you have always been a breath of fresh air and very inspiring for me, to my family, to my friends. to my Brosis family, to my footballers. You know, I can't leave out my footballers, you know, to my IT team, you know, to my PR
Yes.
team. You know,
Yes.
so I can't, you know, to the viewers who take time out to tune in,
Yes.
listen to part two. Part two is a journey. And when I'm speaking, I'm not speaking for myself. I'm speaking to the students of Rusea High School and students of William F. Cornwall College and all the alumni
Yes.
association, because it's
Yes.
a journey. It's not where you start, it's how you finish.
Yes.
You know, and I want people and I want the students to know that there's a body that's working for them to
Yes.
enhance their education life and to make them a better person for the future of Jamaica and global.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Mr. Gregory Malcolm, I'd like you to just thank the audience once again as we close for the night. Could you do that for us, please?
Yes, certainly. So again, you know, big thanks to Mr. President for sharing some very thoughtful and inspiring words. To you, Mr. Dunkley, for moderating. You know, your always excellent moderation that you do across the Empowerment Nights. And to the general audience, again, thanks for participating. Your inputs are always welcome. The comments are always very insightful. And, you know, we continue to encourage you to participate in our future Empowerment Night. And again, tune in next week as we continue part two. And again, you know, look forward to an inspiring dialogue for all to hear. All right.
Very good. Thank you so much. On behalf of the Rusea's Brosis Foundation, we say thanks to all and have a wonderful night. And do make a note, see you for part two next week, Tuesday, May 24th. See you. Don't miss it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yo, saw me, the young Jamaican trainer, Mr. Strength No Weakness himself. Yo, I'm here to tell you guys that the Brosis family presents their second annual Blue and White Grill and Chill. Let me let you know something. It will be so much fun and amazing event. Make sure you show up and show out. From the young Jamaican trainer himself. Listen, Saturday, May 28th, and it's 3458 Bulla Avenue, Bronx, New York. Me see you later. Strength No Weakness.
For you the voice know say Dermody representing. I'm gonna make them know say Rusea's Brosis Foundation Inc. Promotion present its second annual Blue and White Grill and Chill. You don't know say Saturday, May 28th, place to be 3458 Bulla Avenue, Bronx, New York 10475. So look out now when I book out. I'm telling you don't know Dermody will be there, so get there. Sailing Brosis. I'm telling you. Grill and Chill, Blue and White edition. Step out. Done it done. Fully auto.